It's election night for round 6 of the AFL. As always, Tom Rehn is with me. Tommy, a few shocks for the Crows.
No doubt about that, Treaders. Let's go into them straight away. 4 changes for Adelaide. The inclusions are pretty good ones, albeit young. Jake Lever, the debutant, comes in along with Mitch Grigg, Jared Lyons and Jake Lever. So some good ins there, but Douglas out with a foot. Henderson with a pectoral. Ellis Yeoman, bit of a hamstring problem. He'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks. And the other one, Josh Jenkins, is out with a hip flexor. Treaders, what's going on with him?
Played the game out last week with a torn hip flexor, so I'm not sure how bad this one is, but all reports says he was struggling sort of early in the week to even lift his leg. It can happen with that injury, but what they do is once they get warm and a couple of weeks of recovery, they bounce back pretty quickly. So the other problem here, though, is who's going to be the second ruckman for Adelaide. It could even be Tommy Lynch for all we know, because unless they make a decision and bring someone else in, and I know they've brought in O'Brien up off the rookie list. What is very surprising, Rennie, you don't normally upgrade a rookie unless you're going to play him. So there could be some changes for the Crows in the next 24 hours.
Well, here's an emergency at this stage, so we'll wait and see there. If you think 4 changes is a lot, have a look at Gold Coast. 7 changes, Treaders. 3 of them injuries as a result and 4 of them suspensions. Stephen May was suspended by the AFL in the match review panel. Controversy there. More controversy with the other 3 players that come out, Brandon Matera, Trent McKenzie, and they've also lost Harley Bennell. In your mind, is it the right thing to do to suspend those players?
Right now, it doesn't look like when you see how many people come out, but it is the best thing. If they want to build a culture of being professional footballers and you're drinking on a 6-day break when your team has had as poor season as they have had so far, I think Rodney Eade is well within his rights to slam a few and drop a few to the twos.
Well, you're right. It is a line in the sand moment for the footy club and for Rodney Eade, and he's put a little bit of blame on the previous regime, saying that the way things were run has probably led to what we've seen over the past few days.
Obviously trying to build a culture, or the correct culture. Probably historically the players are telling me that people maybe run their own race a little bit.
Danny Stanley wasn't considered along with the other 3 who were all drinking on Sunday. The coach lamenting he only had 24 players to choose from. But he's denied the club has a drinking problem.
No, I don't think a drinking culture, no. Selection of times when you do it, and that's setting standards and behaviours and what's not acceptable for your professionalism and be able to get yourself up for the next week. And I think that's been probably inconsistent.
The undermanned Suns leave the Crows red-hot favourites, but coach Phil Walsh is expecting a fired-up opponent.
Probably Rodney Eade, line in the sand. I think this will be a contest. I think he'll try and make this a really fierce contest. I don't think it'll be an open, pretty game of footy.
Well, Treaders, let's go to Port Adelaide's team now. Just the squad at this stage because it's being played on Sunday. Carl Amon into that squad. So too Jarman Impey. Good to see him back from injury. O'Shea and Archie are in there as well. And Jared Pollock comes out with that foot problem, which is a bit of a concern. And the coach, Ken Hinkley, says they're going to be ultra-conservative with his comeback.
We won't take any risks at all. If it comes back in 6 weeks' time that he's still got some issues, if it meant we'll put him out for longer, we'll put him out for longer. It's too risky. I mean, we've all been around and seen those injuries turn into, sometimes they turn into a long term for a year or 2. We don't want that to be the case.
We definitely don't. Treaders, I'm a little bit worried about that. How concerned are you that Jared Pollock won't be back for some time?
Well, I'll take a positive because there's some names you'll remember. Jack Trengove, Matt Egan and James Hurd. It nearly ended their careers. But this is a hot spot, it's not a stress fracture. So It's an early stage, it's in the early stage of an irritation and can turn into a stretch fracture. But for me, they're doing the right thing, they're being the smart thing. Getting back to Port's 22, I hope Amon gets a game. His form in the SNFL has been very, very good.
He's been on the cusp for a while. Great point, Treaders. Let's go to West Coast team. Obviously just the squad there as well. Only the 3 ins at this stage, Hutchings, College and Nelson, which means Josh Kennedy's been named, despite reports we're hearing his season could have been over because of an elbow injury. What's going on?
Well, the word was out of Perth today, and it's only recently in the last half hour they've said he won't have surgery. For me, that says they're just going to roll the dice. He's leading the Coleman at the moment, playing career-best football, but if this elbow doesn't give way, they're thinking, you know what, we'll have one more go, we'll take him to Adelaide, and it looks as if he's going to have a crack, and if it doesn't work, he'll go in for season-ending surgery.
Well, let's hope Port can get the win. I'm tipping that you've gone with them this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rennie. We'll see you Monday for the review of the weekend.
Good stuff, Treaders.
And moving on to some of my tips, I've gone for Adelaide and Port Adelaide. I've gone for Carlton, and in the big game between Geelong and Collingwood, I've gone for Collingwood just on form.